Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sharon Spurlock, and I'm here with you today to host our weekly Q&A with the St. Louis Arc Family Support Team. And today we've got our partners from the leisure team here to talk to us. Can you believe it is July? That means it's July Parks and Recreation Month, and we are big on everything parks and recreation here. So we want to make sure you know everything about how to explore your community, participate in ARC activities, and also just get out and enjoy what St. Louis has to offer. And we're going to start with introductions. And Rhonda, I will turn to you. As you know, I like people to tell a little bit about their ARC story when they give their introduction. So show us how it's done.
My name's Rhonda Hembry. I am the Director of Leisure Services Department. I started in 1991 as an intern in the Leisure Department. I've stayed faithful. I have not jumped to any other departments in the ARC. I am a leisure girl through and through. And our motto in leisure is we plan for fun.
My name is Ashley Price. I am a leisure coordinator. I just had my 2-year anniversary here at St. Louis ARC. I'm loving it. I'm a CTRS, and I'm going to explain more what that means later on in the webinar.
First off, I want to say, yes, it is July. Happy Parks and Recreation Month. Every year across the United States, the National Parks and Recreation Service celebrates July as Happy Parks and Recreation Month. This year's theme is Build Together, Play Together. 40 years of Parks and Recreation Month. So we have been doing this for 40 years. So some of the things that we like to celebrate during Parks and Recreation Month are the professionals that are actually doing the job. And we love that they are enriching lives and strengthening communities. And our programs boost health, well-being, and create what we really want to do is create those lasting memories, friendships, and family bonds. So what does July Parks and Recreation Month mean for the Leisure Services Department? And if we're going to stay together with Build Together, Play Together, which I love that theme, together we are creating and developing fun and engaging programs for current and future generations. This St. Louis ARC is going to be here longer than me, and so we want to be able to make sure we're developing those fun legacy programs that carry through for many, many generations. Together, we're building inclusive communities focused on people's interests and commonalities. Together, we're building high quality programs, inclusive programs for all. And then together, we plan for fun and help people play and connect through yoga, art classes, sports, ARC United Sports, which we're going to get into a little later, and dances, recreation, social. We try to provide all those programs that have the opportunity for you to meet some friends and have fun along the way, and sometimes build some new skills in the art and the area of recreation and leisure. To learn more about Park and Recreation Month and find additional resources, I believe Bree's going to put in the chat the nrpa.org/July is a place that you can go to learn more about this fun month. Or you can join the conversation on Facebook. What's that other one? Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And Bree will put this one on. It's called hashtag Build Together, Play Together. How easy is that? This year, Parks and Recreation across the United States, they are celebrating Park and Recreation Professional Day on Friday, July 18th. So show all your love to all your Parks and Recreation professionals. If you're out at your local community, Parks and Rec, you're in the leisure department. On Friday, July 18th, that is the day to celebrate all of us who try to make sure that you guys are having fun out there. The St. Louis ARC will be celebrating on July 16th at Stacy Park in Olivet, Missouri from 12 to 2 p.m. And that's open for everyone. We're going to have some light refreshments, some yard games, and just come and enjoy and meet new friends. If you are interested in wanting to come on July 16th, please shoot myself or Ashley an email saying you'd like to come. We'd love to have you. It is open to a lot of people. So to find out what's happening in your local municipality, which is if you live in Webster Groves has a Parks and Rec department. Kirkwood has a Parks and Rec department. You could just Google the municipality that you live in and find out all the parks and recreation events that are happening across St. Louis County, St. Louis City, or Jefferson County or St. Charles County if you live there. If you live in an unincorporated area in St. Louis, you would type in St. Louis County Parks and Recreation to find out what's going on in the unincorporated areas in St. Louis. So, for example, if I was going to type in Kirkwood Community Center or Kirkwood Parks and Rec, I believe they are hosting the Freedom Festival on July 4th that's a fireworks as one of their July Parks and Rec month activity. Another one they're doing is a 90s bingo event. Everybody loves bingo on July 25th. If you live in Fenton, in the Fenton City Park on July 18th, which is Recreation Professional Day, they're having a Fenton food truck night from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. So if anyone needs assistance finding or locating fun events in St. Louis, you can always contact me at the ARC and I can help you, or you could sign up with our very own Sharon Spurlock, who sends out an email each weekend throughout the whole year of letting you know what fun events and exciting activities are going on. So thank you, Sharon, for doing that. We love that you do that. So
I
that is
just made
all
a
I have.
note to look up all those Parks and Recs departments so I could get all those events. I want to just pause briefly here because I'm excited we're having the party in the park on the 16th, and it takes me back. I've been here long enough that back in the day we used to have Parks and Recreation Month before things got quite so busy in the leisure team, and we started offering a lot of summer programs. And I think that's the thing that it's important for us to share with people about leisure and recreation, is that it's not just about having a good time. There's so many benefits to it. And when I think back on the yard games we used to play, I just reviewed a bunch of pictures of those for our 75th anniversary. And I really feel like I got to know my coworkers in such a different way because we were doing something fun together. And we even did some after hours things like the beach volleyball and things like that. And I do think it really helps strengthen your relationships in such important ways to have not just a recreation outlet, but something that happens with people that you see consistently. So I don't know if this is a good time for you or Ashley to talk about kind of something that you personally have gotten from recreation or leisure, but other than relationships and connectivity, what are some of the things that have benefited you, Rhonda?
Well, it helped me build my leadership skills, my motivational skills, just regular recreation and leisure skills. I learned how to play softball and basketball and golf. I'm an athletic kind of gal. I've always been. I can pick up something really quick and easy. But the main thing is the camaraderie, the socialization, and building skills that I didn't think that I would be building, like the leadership skills. That's was very important for me. So
Fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not super sporty, but I think the health benefits of trying to do something
Mhm.
physical like that are really important to point out. Ashley, are we ready to shift to you?
Yeah, sure.
What about you? How does recreation and leisure make your life better?
Oh, I can think of so many ways. So I think of sports too. I was a sports girl. I played softball for 15 years, and it actually, like, not only did it give me the opportunities to to play the sport and to have friendships, but like I ended up playing at a junior college level. So like I got to do a lot of traveling with that, it helped out college finances. So I think just sticking with something, if you're really passionate about it, it can pay off in lots of ways, ways that you wouldn't even imagine. So sports
Love
is that
it.
kind of thing. Yes. So for those of you that don't know, Therapeutic Recreation Week is coming up July 7th through 13th. I love talking about TR, which is kind of just a little slang for therapeutic rec. So you might hear me saying TR. I'm gonna geek out a little bit on you because I love it. So TR, this is gonna be a long definition, but I'm gonna break it down. Um, TR, it's kind of an umbrella term for different ways that you can implement activity-based programming. So that could be through adaptive sports, that could be through recreation therapy, inclusive recreation, special recreation, and leisure education. So it's kind of big umbrella term for all the awesome things that we get to do with recreation. The big takeaway is we use activities to help people. So that can be done in lots of different ways. Kind of what Sharon was talking about, recreation is so good for us. Um, it's not only are we doing the things that we love, but we're reaping all these other benefits that we don't even know secondarily. So, you might be going to a art class to do some artwork, but what are the other things that you're doing? You're building your self-esteem because you're making this really cool project. You're finding people with similar interests as you. You're expressing yourself. You're being mindful, you're being present, that might help reduce your stress, help you to relax. So, I mean, that's just one example. That's just one activity and all the benefits that you can get out of just doing art. Thinking of all the interventions that we could use to help our health. Sports, we were talking about, getting outside, gardening. If sports isn't for you, the arts and crafts, the games, swimming, getting out into your community, especially if you're someone that stays home a lot and you might be kind of isolated. It's really good for you to find ways to get out and connect and get out in your community. Music is a huge avenue. We work a lot with music therapy. That's an awesome profession that kind of goes hand in hand with recreation therapy. So there are lots of things that people don't realize is beneficial to us, and they're just playing. They just know that they're having fun. They just know that they're enjoying their activities. Some people might be aware that they're getting all these other benefits, but it's all happening simultaneously, and that's why I love therapeutic rec so much. I think the biggest takeaway for therapeutic rec and recreation therapy specifically, this is a real profession. You can get paid to do awesome, fun things like this that benefits people. We're not just out there having fun. Of course, that's one of the big goals. But, we have goals, we have outcomes, we have ways to measure and assess how people are doing, how they're feeling. And we really just want people to get involved. So it's really cool if you're looking for a Parks and Rec kind of job. There's lots of different ways to get involved with that, in the parks departments. Recreation therapy is really a clinical field. We're in the health field. If you don't know that, it's really important to kind of get the word out in the medical field that like we are important, that it's really beneficial. We work hand in hand with like PTs, OTs, speech, nursing, all of those professions. If you can really advocate for this field and to show why recreation and leisure is so important, I think a lot of people will see the good in it, see the benefits. So you can see us in lots of different environments. Like on the next slide, I used to work in the hospital and inpatient psych, so there's lots of clinical roles, nursing facilities, residential settings, community-based programming like we're here at St. Louis ARC, Parks Department, schools, prisons. You can find us almost anywhere, which is awesome. So like I said, I am a CTRS, which means I'm a certified therapeutic recreation specialist. So that's something I went to school for. I have a master's in TR. And then the second kind of tier of that is becoming a CTRS. So you go, you take an exam, you do 560 hours of an internship, and then throughout your credentialing, you have to maintain professional development. So those are all ways to just show how important the field is. We're here, we're legit, you can find us in so many different places. And that's kind of my big plug-in. We're here and we're excited. You can talk to anybody that is in this field and they can go on and on and on about it. So I'll probably stop now before I keep talking. If anybody has any questions about what it would look like, to become a rec therapist or what this process looks like, anything else about the field, let me know.
We have quite a few questions. So I'm going to start with the jobs in the recreation field because not everybody, I can see there's 3 people in that picture, but not everybody on your team is a certified therapeutic recreation specialist. So for people that don't have the time, inclination, ability to pursue a 4-year degree and a certification, what kind of roles do you see as possibilities for them?
Yes, some different kinds of roles. And these are also for Parks and Recreation. And another place you could look is the YMCAs, the YWCAs. Some of the things like right now, people are looking for summer camp counselors, counselors in training programs. People are looking for lifeguards. If you want to work inside in a Parks and Recreation, you could get a position. You would have to go and get your degree, but you could be a recreation program coordinator. Other things without degrees, you could be set at the front desk and help greet people and check people in. At the YMCA, that's the same thing. You give them their towel, you have fun. Another thing is if you are liking the outdoors, you could work as a park maintenance man outdoors, washing the little side-by-sides and picking up trash and litter. But you also get to cut branches, mow grass, paint railings, all kinds of things. If you aspire to be going to college and you want to get a Parks and Rec degree and you want to be a park ranger, that falls in our realm as well. But yeah, there's all kinds. And if I was someone looking and wanting to get my feet wet, I would go to Google a Parks and Rec department that's locally near you, like Ferguson Parks and Rec or Florissant or Kirkwood, and check out what they have available and what's open. And you can read through it and find out what are your necessary skills and backgrounds that you need for each position. So, but as we go forward, there's always, I will plug this. If someone wants to be a camp counselor anywhere in the United States, start looking in April and you can get your ticket to Hawaii, Minnesota, Florida. I was a camp counselor in the Pennsylvania Poconos Mountains when I was in college. Everybody's looking for camp counselors in the summer. So I tried to tell my nieces and nephews, but they didn't want to leave Joplin. That's okay.
We've got another question about just jobs within our own leisure department. Somebody's asked if we have jobs in leisure beyond the coordinators. Can you talk a little bit about the seasonal positions and the program leader positions you all oversee?
Yeah, we have R&R camp, which is a weekend getaway camp at Wyman in the fall. And it's on the weekends. It starts at Friday and goes to Sunday. And we hire camp counselors for that. We also have a neighborhood experiences project that's going on right now for teens, where we're teaching and facilitating, we're teaching employment skills by going out and volunteering them, but we're also facilitating socialization with the participants who are coming, and we're helping them get geared up to go to work. But we don't really have part-time work. It's more contracted or stipend for, like, if you want to be a dance program leader. That's once a month. It's $50 for a couple of hours, and you're checking people in, and then making sure that if there's any type of emergency, you're in charge of that. If there is someone spills their soda on the floor, I mean, you're just taking care of your cleanup. You're checking in, you're cleaning up, you're taking care of emergencies, and you're actually dancing and having fun. That's the best part. We actually get to dance and have fun. But we have program leaders for many things: bowling, dances, art, cooking. Almost all of our programs have a program leader, except for our sports, which our sports are mainly volunteer ran. That was the basis of what Leisure was made of back in the day. And we are very, very lucky that most of our volunteers we have retained in our 40 plus years of volunteering in basketball and softball.
And do you pay the refs and umpires, or is that part of the contract you have with the different fields?
We do not pay for refs and umpires in our traditional sports. They are the volunteer coaches. And then with our ARC United sports, which is people with and without disabilities playing on one team in a regular recreational league, we pay a set fee. And then that Parks Department pays for the umpires and referees. They're paid. At camp, we do have a position that is an activity assistant position that helps out with activities while they're at camp. The activity, not assistant, the lead activity program person does all the activities, but we have an assistant position under there for someone to help set up the activities, help engage everyone to play in the activities and things like that. So we do have one position open and we like to have that position open for people who might have a disability, who are trying to gain skills in being a Parks and Rec or camp counseling or anything like that. So if anyone is interested in that, you can call me and we can talk about the position.
Thank you. I do think sometimes if you've got a really specific job interest, if things don't fall into place quickly, being creative about taking a part-time or even a role like that's a pay by the event kind of a scenario, I think could be really great for resume building and for determining, you know what, I really don't want to be the activities director, but that dance program, that was really fun. I like that. The parts of it I liked were this, this, and this. And I think it helps kind of narrow your thoughts and expand your thoughts, maybe both, about what you really want out of a job. So I'm glad you shared that. We've got a couple of more kind of generic art questions. Wanting to know if you're still offering virtual programs for people that are struggling with transportation.
You want to go ahead, Ashley?
I still have a virtual art class. Virtual Artists in You is still happening. That runs pretty much all year. So that's one of them. Plug in. The video game program is still running. That's virtual. I think there's a session of virtual cooking.
I think we just have the Artists in You, arts and crafts, yoga, and
yoga.
cooking.
That's right, yoga.
Yeah.
Yep, virtual yoga is happening.
Right.
Start back up this fall.
And you could also look on our meetup page. I know we've got at least once a week, we've got Zumba with Sam that's virtual, and you might find some other things there. So meetup.com, and then you go look for Connected St. Louis Art. And those are our non-leisure activities. Do you have to have a physical before you play ARC sports? I know the answer to that, but I'm going to turn that over to you, Rhonda.
No, you do not have to have a physical to play ARC sports. We would hope that you are physically fit to play the position, but no, you don't need to have a physical to go to camp. You don't need to have. At one time, we used to do all that, but we don't do that anymore.
The other question from the Q&A, I'm going to turn to you, Ashley. It's what makes leisure therapeutic, which I think you kind of described that in the description of the CTRS, but they want to know if it can be prescribed by a doctor or a mental health professional. Is there any way that you can say, this is really what would benefit me, and get a prescription to have equine therapy or to join an ARC team?
They are like starting, like doctors and providers are like starting to realize the benefits of this. There's like talk about eventually recreation therapy going through insurance, like it goes through like PT, OT, you know, that's where we're really going to see rec therapy blow up, when people can get, you know, insurance help and providers will see the need for it. So I think in an indirect way, providers are starting to like make, especially after COVID, you know, getting people out socializing, they're realizing all the issues that came along with that. So I think it's not something that is you would get a prescription on a piece of paper yet, but ideally we're getting there.
Well, I want to give a shout out to our partners at the Recreation Council of Greater St. Louis, because while you can't get a prescription for it, they have done a wonderful job of dispersing money through almost all of our county Senate Bill 40 tax boards to provide vouchers for all kinds of recreational services. So if you're not connected to the Rec Council, by all means, check out what's going on there. They also are a clearinghouse for all the things that are going on around town. So I'm looking at the clock. It's 3:30, Rhonda, and I promise to not hold you over too much. But before we go, I'm going to give you each a chance to say one more thing. So you can either tell your favorite story of success from recreation, you can pump up an activity you want people to consider going to, or you can just say anything else you want that I haven't thought of. So I'm going to say that Rhonda's going to respond more quickly. So you go first, Rhonda.
I just want to let everybody know that our fall program brochure is coming out in July. There might be a new way to register, online registration. We are working on getting that ready for fall, but if we don't get it up and running yet, that's okay. It will be here for winter. We have all kinds of fun fall activities. One of our favorite things that are coming up, it's brand new, is our Pickleball League. We're very excited about Pickleball League, which is an ARC United League for people with and without disabilities to play pickleball. We also have a kickball team that is ARC United. When you hear the word ARC United, it is for people with and without disabilities. When you hear traditional sports, that's mainly the sports that have just everybody with a disability on that one sport. So
I'm going to quickly move from you to Ashley.
Yes,
Ashley, tell me something better.
So I think my little plug-in is gonna be for our leisure education class. So you're like getting excited about recreation, you're not sure what really leisure interests you have, and you're looking to build on skills, you're working on goals, you want to see these benefits. I offer a class periodically. It's not this fall, but it'll probably come back this winter, where we have a 6-week class. We'll go into all different interests, your goals. It's a good way to meet other people, see what their interests are. So it's a good just kind of like lean into recreation, find out more about yourself, more about other people. So if you're interested in that, it's called Leisure is for Everyone, our leisure lifestyle class. That's my plug-in.
I really am glad you brought that up, because as we've been talking, I've just been thinking about how many families call me with their teenager or young adult, and they say they don't want to do anything. They just want to be in their room with a tablet. And technology can bring so many great things to us, but people need more than that to live a really healthy life. So maybe that's the starting point with your kiddo. Say, hey, will you go and explore what might be interesting for you other than a device? That's all we're asking you to do. See if you can try this out. Maybe they'll find out that they have some passion for something that they had no idea about, and there's never a better payoff than that. So that's my challenge to all of you out there, to see if you might have somebody that's perfect for our life class. So so thanks so much, you guys, for coming, and a happy Parks and Recreation Month. Go out and do something that you enjoy, that helps you feel connected and engaged and excited. So thank you. Bye, everybody.